take a deep breath, Griffin.
All right. Hello, my name's Griffin Stover, and this is Truck Talk. I'm your host, and today we have Mike, the Boston Trucker. Can you say hello, Mike?
Hello, Mike.
Hi. Today we have some news. We're going to first start out with that. There's going to be a Indianapolis toy show or truck and car show, something like that, and they're going to have an O'Hare livery of a Kenworth T880 with a wrecker body on it. That will be in August, I believe. So, Mike, how long have you been driving trucks?
I've been driving for 25 years.
That's great. So you have a lot of experience, I presume.
I do. My dad was a driver for over 40 years. So I spent my childhood riding with him in the trucks, and then I got my license when I was 18, and I started driving over the road probably when I was 18 and a half, running coast to coast, even though legally you're not supposed to run out of state when you're 21. I found a company that didn't really care, and I didn't care, and so that's what I did, and I loved it. Still love it.
Yeah. What was that company called?
Oh, I don't know if they want to be named, but since they're out of business, the company was called Land Transport in Framingham. So I was probably about 18 and a half when I started working there, and had a old cab over International, and I ran out to California with it every week, and then I got a conventional International and a cab over Mac, and it was good times. I loved it.
That's great. Who else have you worked for?
After that, I worked for a company called Bud Meyer Truck Lines out of Lake City, Minnesota. I started working there in 1992, and to this day, that's my favorite place I ever worked. Had some really nice trucks there, nice Peterbilts. Had a cab over Pete, a couple conventional Petes, and a nice, beautiful Mac over there. Did a lot of truck shows, got in a lot of magazines. Had a lot of chrome on my trucks, and was pretty well known for the trucks I had back in those days.
What is that? The 80s?
No, that would be the 90s. I got my license in 89, so that was 1992 to 98. I worked at Bud Meyer. In 95, I left Bud Meyer for almost a year to drive for Walmart. I left Walmart for just under a year. I went back to Bud Meyer for another 2 years, and then they got bought out.
What type of truck did you drive for Walmart?
I drove a 1995 cab over International with a Super 10 speed in it.
That's awesome. That's a really cool truck.
Yeah, thanks.
So after Bud Meyer for the other 2 years, where did you go?
After Bud Meyer, I worked for an owner-operator named Gary Pons in Louisiana, and I drove coast to coast for him in a beautiful black Peterbilt, hauling architectural stone to casinos in Las Vegas and Beverly Hills, and then produce down to Florida, and then go back to Texas and back up to California. Then I drove for Ken Salad Dressing for a while. I drove for New Century Transportation for 8 years out of New Jersey. I drove for a company called Boston Bark for 4 years, hauling landscape materials and a dump trailer. And now I work for a company called A. Cardillo and Sons Excavation in Waltham, Massachusetts, with a dump trailer and a low bed. Go ahead.
Can you tell me more about the Boston Bark Peterbilt?
Yeah, I had a 96 Peterbilt. It was pretty much stock when I started driving there, and then I turned it into a beautiful show truck with the visor and the bumper and the chrome on it, and had a beautiful polished trailer, and that was a nice truck. Then they sold it and gave me an 06 Pete, and I left pretty soon after that.
Okay. When did you? What type of engine was it?
It had an old mechanical 4 1/4 cat with a 8-speed double low.
That's amazing. You had a East trailer, right?
Yeah, it was a 3-axle East trailer. It was 34 feet long.
what type of materials did you haul with that?
Mulch, compost, loam, gravel, any kind of stone products. And we hauled snow in the winter with it, salt.
Yeah, and you drove their single axle Peterbilt, right, with the plow.
Yeah, they had a 335 Peterbilt dump truck, 6-wheel. Yeah, that's what I plowed with over there. That was a nice truck. Had an automatic in it. It was nice. Did that for about 4 years.
Okay, and then what year did you switch to Cardillo?
I went to Cardillo in July of 2014. It's also in Waltham, which is the same town as Boston Bark, and I pull a dump trailer and a low bed, hauling all their equipment around, and then we haul out materials and materials back.
What type of and that's a Kenworth T800, right?
Yep, it's a 2003. Yep.
Okay, can you tell me more about the engine? About
Sure. It's got
trans?
Yep, it's got a 475 Caterpillar with an 18-speed, and it does a really good job.
Eaton Fuller trans?
Sir, and it's got the 6NZ motor, and it pulls really, really good.
That's cool, and you put a new bumper or visor or something. I remember when you did that.
Yeah, we put a. My boss said to me when he hired me, before I came over, he said, "Give me a list of the chrome you want for the truck, and I'll go get it." And that was even before I worked there. So he went on and got me a visor and some extra chrome for the dash, and it looks nice. It's not the best looking truck I've ever driven, but it's does the job. It's always clean, polished, and take it to shows and stuff.
Yeah, I remember last July when you first started working for him. I think that truck was in the shop or something, and you drove a old Mac or something.
Yeah, we have friends called the Canizo brothers. They have an old early '80s Model R model Mac. So we borrow that truck when my truck's in the shop once in a while, and I do get to drive that. It's a nice truck. It's got a 12-speed in it. It's fun to drive.
That's really cool. What type of lowboy do you drive with the Kenworth?
It's a Fontaine.
Okay, and that's a tandem, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what type of what type of equipment have you hauled with those?
We've got a lot of mostly Komatsus. We have a couple 220 Komatsu excavators. We've got a 250 Komatsu front end loader, a couple 270 front end loaders. We've got some backhoes. That's basically what I haul. Sometimes I haul equipment for other people when they're in a pinch, but that's about all I use it for.
Okay, and obviously, lowboy is my favorite. And anyway, can you tell us more about what was your favorite truck you have driven?
My favorite truck was probably my two favorite trucks. I'd say was my Bud Meyer Peterbilt, which was white with 3 black stripes on it. I did a lot of truck shows with it. I won a lot of awards. The whole interior was chrome, silver carpet. Every bolt on the truck was chromed out. The engine. That was probably my favorite truck to date. And the green Peterbilt I drove for Boston Bark, that was probably my second favorite truck. It was just a beautiful truck, old school. Yeah, those are my favorite trucks. I've loved every truck I've ever driven. When you drive a truck, you form a relationship with your truck, almost like a second wife. Sometimes it's kind of silly, but that's actually what happens to a lot of guys. So that's how I always felt.
Yeah. Well, that we'll wrap it up, and that's the end of Truck Talk. Do you have any shout outs you want to do or anything like that?
Sure, you can check me out on YouTube at The Boston Trucker, on Instagram at The Boston Trucker, and you can find me at hankstruckpictures.com. Look up Michael S. Gass. Thank you.
Okay, well, it was a pleasure having you. And
thanks.
Thank you for taking time to do this. Anyway, that's it for Truck Talk. I will see you next. We'll see you next week.